what people who can't sleep just don't understand. And you are not alone. Every single one of us who have insomnia or who have had insomnia made the same mistakes. And that's okay. It's totally natural, and you can learn how to move in a positive direction so that you can start to recover from insomnia. So if you want to know one of the most important things that I wish I knew and that I believe you should know, then stick around and watch this video. So the way you can think about it is, if you have anything that's stressing you out, or any kind of anxiety or any kind of issue, any kind of health issue, things like that. Let's say you're having stress, and then you start reacting like, oh my gosh, I'm stressed, I shouldn't be stressed. And you start creating more and more stress. If you have anxiety and you're trying to stop it and resist it, like, oh, I shouldn't have anxiety or anything like that, you're having a secondary reaction to that reaction, which only amplifies everything. So first off, would you like to feel more peace at bedtime? Yes or no? Let me know below, because this is a way that you can bring more peace at bedtime when you go the opposite of resisting. So first, I'm going to talk about the resistance part. Yes, it's the negative part. I don't like to stick around here. I'd rather move towards a part where you're bringing in more peace at bedtime and you're feeling amazing. So let's start off with how we are resisting when we have insomnia. And this can be, first off, starting off with the thoughts that this shouldn't be happening. I shouldn't be awake. I shouldn't have the racing mind. I shouldn't have palpitations. I shouldn't have sleep anxiety or general anxiety. All these thoughts that I shouldn't be having these things. Even though trouble sleeping happens to absolutely everybody at some point in life. And I'm not talking about insomnia or chronic insomnia, but they'll have some problems sleeping. Maybe there's something stressful happening in their life. Maybe something traumatic happened. Maybe there's side effects to medication. All sorts of things can cause some trouble, temporary trouble sleeping. It's when we react and think, oh, this shouldn't happen, even though it's normal to happen. But we react thinking, oh, this shouldn't happen. And then we start to react with fear. This is the key. This is what turns what disruptive sleep into insomnia. We react with fear. So when we fear being awake, we fear having anxiety, both general and sleep anxiety. We fear the palpitations. We fear the racing mind. We fear all these symptoms and all these experiences that we're having with insomnia. Well, that's actually tricking your brain into thinking that there is something to fear, like there's an actual physical threat out there. Yes, your brain is confused, it doesn't understand, but it's fearing something. It notices the fear, it notices you trying to escape with pills, supplements, trying to stop it in every way possible, having that secondary reaction I talked about earlier, and it thinks, oh, there's a threat out there. Danger, I need to fix it. We need to problem solve, we need to escape it, we need to fix it. And it's not your fault. This is your brain's natural reaction, and there is hope. The more we try to fix it, the more we try to escape it, the more we try to suppress it or minimize the anxiety, try to stop it in the moment, the more it's going to amplify, the more you're going to be awake, the longer it's going to last. Before we move on, if you want to learn how to have more peace at bedtime and to wake up feeling more refreshed, make sure you go to my description and click on the link for my 5 simple guide to sleep more. This will help clear things up even more and help you wake up a little more peaceful. So let's talk more about the positive side and how you can move forward so that you can be more peaceful at bedtime and you can wake up feeling more refreshed. And that is being willing to experience the wakefulness, the anxiety, the palpitations, the symptoms, and whatever else you are experiencing. Now, notice I'm not saying accepting. I used to teach that the more you could accept that it's happening, the more sleep you're gonna get with time, things like that. And yes, accepting and allowing can do that, but when you have insomnia, you're not ready to accept being awake. You don't want to be awake. So instead, I'm teaching if the more you're willing to experience, you're not okay with it. It's not okay being awake. I got you. I get it. I have been there too, but the more you're willing to experience all these symptoms and being awake, the lower your hyperarousal levels are going to go down. The more your brain is going to think, oh, she's safe after all. It can slowly deactivate that fight or flight system, so your stress levels come down. You feel more peace at bedtime. Now, you can't force yourself to just be okay and be at peace, but this comes with time, and the more you're willing to experience it. Because one thing I teach is you can't control your sleep in the moment. I know sometimes it feels like it. It feels like sleeping pills are making you sleep, but really they aren't. It's tricky. I have a whole video that talks about that, and it's too much to explain here, but you can't control your sleep in that moment. The more you're willing to experience, the less things will become intense and they'll fade away. So the less intense your anxiety will be in the moment, and the less often it will happen. It'll be more peaceful at bedtime, and then you'll sleep more and more with time as your brain learns that you are safe. So let's talk about the different ways that this can apply. So let's start up being awake at night, because that's our biggest issue right there. So if you want to stop resisting, be more at peace, it's allowing yourself, being willing to experience being awake. You're not going to take supplements, you're not going to take pills, you're not going to fear it, because you can look in the past. Yes, your day might have sucked the next day, like you didn't have the energy that you wanted, but you got through it. You maybe even had good days on little sleep. Yes, it's not optimal. I get it. With time, you will get more sleep, but the more you can not stop, you can't force yourself to stop fearing, but the more you can take the pressure off to sleep, the less you fear it, and you're willing to experience it and realize that you'll be okay and this is only temporary, the better off you're gonna be. Anxiety and palpitations. First off, I want you to know that you're completely safe when these are happening. I know it is scary. It is scary to experience these, but you'll be okay. You will be okay and get past it. They're only temporary. The more you can, I always say, lie down with the feelings, lie down with the palpitations, anxiety. I like to teach to lay down. You can place your right hand on your heart, left hand on the belly. They say that's a very comforting and safe pose. It makes you feel safe. So if it helps, do it. If not, that's okay. But just laying there and breathing through the sensations, breathing through the anxiety, breathing through the palpitations and whatever else you're feeling without trying to stop them. Just experience them. Don't fear them. Don't try to stop them, and allow them. They will pass. That's gonna help a lot. Now, racing mind, this is a big one, and I hear a lot of my clients have this issue. I hear a lot of people talk about it in my group. I hear a lot of people talk about it on Instagram. The more you try to stop your racing mind, the more it's going to race, and the faster the thoughts are going to come. These are kind of messages from the brain, because your brain thinks you're in danger and there's a lot going on. They're messages from the brain. And if you aren't listening to it, you're trying to stop them, your brain is going to only try to amplify them so that you listen. Like, hey, listen to me. So the more you can just allow the racing mind, the more they will slow down. The less intense they will be. With time, they'll start to slow down. Even me, I still occasionally get a racing, I don't know if I call it racing mind, but I'll have a lot of thoughts, like in the middle of the night, which would normally in the past keep me up at night. But now when I have them, I just go with the thought. I know this sounds crazy, but I just allow myself to think, and next thing I know, I'm asleep. I don't even notice myself falling asleep. But it allows me to process all those thoughts too, which you could always do a brain dump in the afternoons to help process some of the thoughts before you go to bed. I forgot that I was to put that on my list of things to talk about, but that is really helpful as well. So this is all this willingness to experience all this, willingness to experience being awake, the anxiety, the palpitations, all that. is a way to teach your brain that you are safe. So your brain will start to relax. It'll deactivate that fight or flight system. Your hyperarousal levels are going to come down and you're going to sleep more. And the more you're willing to experience all this, the more peace you're going to have at bedtime. I remember when I had insomnia, how stressful and scary it was. And I would have loved to have more peace at bedtime instead of dreading it. I know it sucks being awake, but even just being more at peace with it makes you feel better the next day because you're less emotional. You're not burning all this energy and exhausting yourself with all the emotions and fighting it, which only makes you feel worse the next day. When instead, if you can bring more peace, you're gonna feel even better the next day. Even if you're not getting enough sleep yet, you'll still feel more rested. So I hope you found this video helpful. And speaking of feeling more restful the next day, I do talk more about bringing more peace at bedtime and other ways that you can feel more refreshed in the morning despite not sleeping. Yes, you're not gonna feel like you slept a full 7, 8, 9 hours, but you're going to feel better than you do now. So if you want to check out the video, I highly recommend it. Go check it out now. Here is the video, and then here's another video that you might like as well. So thanks for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one.